Good evening, everybody. Welcome to what is wet, not that cold, winter's day, and a bit more on how to calculate the product of two matrices by hand. So it's easy to bang them in a CAS, but at some point you may need to carry this procedure out by hand. So there's a couple of things I need to start with here, and that is, are they defined, and what is the product matrix going to look like? So the product matrix being, at the end result, what's the order of the matrix? Is it going to be a 2 by 3, a 6 by 10, etc., etc. Okay, so to do that, first thing we want to do is write out the order of the two matrices. So we've got a 3 by 2, and we've got a 2 by 2. Okay, once we've done that, we want to compare the two inside numbers. So we say that that's the columns of the first versus the rows of the second matrix, and if they are the same, which they are, we say that that is defined. When something is defined, when two matrices are defined, they can be multiplied together. Okay. Now the next step is to take a look at the two outside numbers. They tell us what the order of the product matrix is going to be. So we're going to end up with a 3 by 2 product matrix. Okay. So if we look at these two and we multiply them together, the easiest thing the thing I think makes this slightly, the easiest way to think about it is to think about doing your rows of your first column, first matrix, by your columns of your second matrix. Okay. So and then repeat the rows of the first matrix until all the columns of the second matrix are used up. So in a nutshell, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking these two numbers and multiplying them by these two numbers. Okay, going down there. Then I'll be taking these two numbers again and multiplying them by these two numbers. Okay. Once that's done, we will go to the next row of the first matrix and perform the same procedure. Okay, use this row to do those two, and then down here in the third row, same thing. Okay, so hopefully we can make some sense out of that for you. Is my pen gone? Just a bit. Okay, so let's make a start. So let's do it with some full working out. So we're going to do 2 by 0, 2 times 0. So that's that by that one, and then 0 times 2 plus 0 times 2. Okay, so that's row 1, column 1. Now we're going to go row 1, column 2. Okay, so 2 by 1 plus 0 by 2. Okay, there, done there. Next one. So we've used up, there's no more columns on the second one to get through, so we can't use the top one again, the top row on the first matrix. Next up, we want to go the row 2 by column 1, and then row 2 by column 2. Okay, so row 2, 1 by 0 plus 3 by 2, then 1 by 1 plus 3 by 2. No more to go there, so down to the bottom row. Minus 1 by 0, minus 1 times 0 plus, where am I? 4 by 2. Then on to the second column, minus 1 by 1 plus 4 by 2. Okay, so hopefully you can see that pattern. Now what we end up with is our first row here exists in the first row of the product matrix. So 2 and 0 only exist up here. So 2, and then there's 2 there, 0 there, then the 2 and the 0 come again. And then the 1 and the 3 do the same. So 1, 3, 1, 3. And then negative 1 and 4. Negative 1, 4, negative 1, 4. Okay, so the first matrix dictates what each row looks like, I guess you could say. Then the second matrix dictates the column. So 0 and 2, so 0 and 2, 0, 2 and 0, 2. So those two there make up the first row, make up the pairs of the first row, and then 1 and 2 make up the pairs of the second row. So we've got 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 again. Okay, so there's a few ways you can think about it. Hopefully they don't get too confusing completely, but I think the first thing we need to remember is that we are multiplying the row of the first matrix by the column, and then go the row of the first matrix by the second column, and so on till you run out of columns. It's rare that you'll get much bigger than this in any SAC or exam. And then the second column by the first row, the second row by the first column, second row by the second column. Okay, now we've done our working out. Okay, we've shown our working out. Then what we want to do is start bringing it all together. Okay, so this all equals, so 2 times 0 is 0 plus 0 times 2. So that first element there is 0. 2 by 1 is 2 plus that, plus 0 times 2 is 0. So that is 2. 1 by 0 is 0, and 3 times 2 is 6. So we've got 6 there. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 2 is 6. So that's 7 added together. And then down here, negative 1 times 0 is 0, 4 times 2 is 8. And then negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, plus 4 times 2 is 8. So negative 1 plus 8 is 7. Okay, check that there, that looks all right. Okay. And that is our product matrix. So hopefully, if we go over to the CAS, which I've set up here, I've put the two matrices in. I should just be able to click exit, and we can check our answers. So 068277, and we can give ourselves a big tick. Okay. Okay, so first off, check that things are defined. That means we can do the multiplication. Secondly, check what the product matrix should look like, because if you get to this point and you notice it's not a 3 by 2, then we know there's something wrong. And thirdly, multiply. So I think the big one is multiply row 1 of the column, row 1 of the first matrix, row 1 of matrix 1 by column 1 of matrix 2. Okay, once you've done that, repeat all of this. Repeat that and multiply it by column 2 of matrix 2, and so on. Then once you've used up all your columns, move on to row 2. Hopefully that's helpful. If there's any comments, throw them below. If you think I've done it the hard way, by all means, shout out. Leave a like, subscribe, get your pets an account and get them to subscribe. Other than that, be happy, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers.